And we're back. Another session here, Harmonic Pattern Podcast number 224. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We're here Tuesday, Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. So subscribe, hit the like button, make sure I'm all good. Everybody else, new folks or people that want to reconnect with the software or what we do with Harmonic Patterns, we've been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, now is the time to get in on what we're doing, quite frankly, because we've got earnings coming up. A lot of actionable things have been, popping left and right. Go to harmonictrader.com, become a basic member, and get with the software. We had the seminar for options on June 30. We're doing another one next Friday. I still haven't released the information, but essentially, if you sign up, subscribe to the site, or purchased or have purchased the software in the last few months, just connect through the Gold Members page or hit me up on the Discord if you need more information. Okay, making that open to everybody, and I'm gonna upload the options seminar to the basic members to check out on a temporary basis for about 2 weeks. That'll be on the basic members page when I announce the next webinar. Check that out. Everyone get a chance to take a look at that. We're doing longer term options. The last session was weekly, super short term. Now we're going to go a little further out. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome back. How's everyone doing today? Hawk, Beast, Dad, Elon, Angel, Eduardo, Laser, everyone else. Let's get right to it. Market's up again. We keep going. I mean, it's Let me pull up a S&P chart right here, right now. 5-minute pushing to highs of the day and ready to make some progress against the recent highs for the year. It's like that. 4,500 is the big number on the top side for S&P 500, the futures. And, we checked back 100 points, no biggie, in the last 2 weeks. Not a surprise. And now let's see what happens, because we're coming into earnings and you're running the table on the whole year's progress. I mean, it's just, oh, check this out. I did want to mention this. One of the reasons why I'm starting with the futures S&P, we do have a bullish 5-0 on the 4-hour chart. So this is some immediate stuff for the week to be considering, where your 50% level reciprocal ABCD tells us that support is more like 440, 430, even though the hop is held almost perfectly. Yeah, it was perfect. The hop at 44.11.62 was the hop for the 5-0, and the low was 44.11.25. That's why you get with the software. So we'll get to all of that. What's up, Laser? Laser saying Amazon, was it popping off? Not a surprise. We'll get to that. We'll do our top 10. Top 5, really, but we could make that 10 pretty easily, because I think everything's starting to push out. You're getting wider opportunities. You're getting things to, more stocks to pop off. Would be great if we could get crypto to do something like this. We've got things like EV stocks like Rivian and Lucid, NEO, the crypto stocks themselves. We've been talking about these, and now I think we're going to start seeing the fireworks. Really quick for today. So that's a big thing for today, and big thing for the week to kick it off with, knowing that you've got a big 4-hour pattern down here, 44.40, 44.30, big general area you want to consider as support for this next move to push higher into the earnings announcements. You see the major stocks. Let's go to the top 5. There's Amazon, but let's just go to the top 5. I'm going to rip through so we can get through a lot of stuff today. And yes, jump to crypto, because I do think crypto is going to start to wake up like these other stocks are doing right now. Number 1, Microsoft. I was in Discord this morning posting charts on Microsoft at 327. All right, Microsoft, and we had posted the 330 calls. So, and that's working out. That's still a play. Microsoft, just let's do the rundown right now. 4-hour chart, because we're just starting there, has an HSI. So we're oversold on the 4-hour. And remember, there's the E, earnings July 27. Okay, a little more than 2 weeks from today. We want 4-hour charts. We want to be, pushing higher, because here's the weekly assessment. Okay, we're up here with a back-to-back bearish patterns, 344. We just put in a yellow dot last week. I'm thinking we come back and retest the zone. Retest the yellow dot one more time, like 344. And, if this still is super strong, okay, maybe as high as 378. If it's going to break down and we go into an immediate type 1, which is we're kind of in between here. And I'll get to what I'm really kind of poking at in a second, but you might be saying, why aren't we looking for the type 1 reaction off this weekly chart, especially with the yellow dot? It's been super strong. Okay, it's the first bearish signal we have seen in 2 years, quite frankly. And I would need to see something more, like a 3-bar breakdown. We've been here 4 or 5 weeks, going sideways. So I'm respecting the strength. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we go into a reaction like that, but we have been continue to print patterns. This is this morning's. Okay, just another crab pattern down here on the 5-minute. If we were printing 5-minute bearish patterns, I would say, all right, maybe that's setting up. Here was a few, though there were a few from last week. Up there around 338, 339. Now we're dealing with a bullish pattern against this 4-hour, so this 4-hour signal for Microsoft too. Is this a pause and we go higher, or are we going to go into a full type 1? I mean, it's really close. I think for now, I'm still playing bullish 5-minute patterns. The big thing on Microsoft is that, yeah, you're at that, you got that pattern, and you're at the all-time 886. Why aren't we wildly short this based off of the signal confirmation? Okay, the big thing is the 886 level, right? That's what I'm focused on. That exact 886 level is, 336. So that's the real make or break, because I feel like we're retesting the weekly level. All right, that's the true make or break. So I'm watching that. Watching the next, literally this 5-minute setup of Microsoft. From this morning, we had a quick push. Let me show you the option contract looks like this. Where was it? 1 second. Let me bring that back up. So I was looking at the Microsoft 430s. Hold on. Or excuse me, 330s. And let's do it the easy way. Here, easiest way, and some people did ask me, how do you find the option charts? If you're on eSignal or pretty much any platform, you're looking for the option chain. Most of you know that, but just to kind of refresh, that'll show you all the strike prices, all of the different individual options that are traded. Go to Microsoft. Again, we were looking this morning at the 330s when it was at 327. Pretty much straight out of what we talked about in our options seminar last week. So there you go. And we do have a nice 5-minute pattern down here. Check this out. There you go. So that's a big crab pattern down here. Still range bound. I mean, we're looking at this around $3 yesterday and this morning. Popped to 5, but the big move hasn't happened yet. Be patient with the market, folks. I know it seems crazy, but we continue to get pullbacks all over the place. I mean, sizable ones. And that's really what you want. Even though these have popped off, I've been saying that the whole summer, all summer long, we're going to get major opportunities. So expect it now. I mean, time's up. Here we are into July 11. Earnings are really going to kick off pretty much now and into next week, and then for the next few weeks, and we'll take them one by one. I think just running through your top 5 is, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Meta, the rest of them. I mean, they're all coming up. If not in the next 2 weeks, the next 5. Here's Apple. Another 5-minute. There's a couple of 5-minute bearish patterns. Remember, we're looking for pullbacks in this larger trend. Apple, there's the extended hours chart. So that's a shark. Not a heck of a lot. I went through this last week and I said, check out the pattern. We had another pattern up here, deep crab. And Apple is really, it's a tough configuration. What's the pattern? Because if we're drawing, or the software is drawing a deep crab, bearish crab around 185, 190 generally. But I think we're just pausing here. That's it. I wouldn't be surprised to see a thing pause and then pull back to set up for a higher move into the hop. And I still think that things like Apple and Nvidia are in the process of doing a longer term 1618 breakout. So, keep an eye on all of that. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, let me come on right back there. And that is the longer term play. If that 1618 breakout on Apple takes until early next year, that's fine. But that's where I do think we're going. Any kind of correction, pullback, retracement right now is a pause. Unless it would be something, dramatic. Something like we break down. We don't do anything for 6, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and then break down. But that's not what's going on. We'll know. I mean, we're coming into earnings. The time window has basically shut. Just so everyone knows, and I want to start lining these up. Apple, August 3rd. Okay? So 3 weeks from Thursday. Start considering it that way. Number 3, Nvidia. We still think Nvidia is going to do a 1618 breakout of the all-time move. We're pausing up here. Not a surprise. Hey, if you could get a pullback, that would be even better. But this is the general assumption with how far we've come and what's the likely harmonic target. There you go. 504. Call it 500. Be conservative. The other thing to notice, okay, Nvidia is, I said this last week, is just one weekly bar away from triggering a mass continuation. And it could even be this week. Here's something to consider. It's, we're kind of anticipating, speculating, but we have a real potential to do a 5-bar candlestick formation here. This could potentially be a rising 3 methods if this is a big bar this week. So keep an eye on that. That's why I think these are sleeping. And they have a lot of potential, and we've paused for 4 or 5 weeks. Every week has been a higher low, except for obviously that one. But despite these red candles, that's just a pause. That's a yawn. And one green candle on the weekly would be a perfect 5-bar rising 3 methods continuation that I think gets you to 500. Earnings, Nvidia, August 23rd. Yeah, so settle in. I mean, if you've got earnings starting next week and you got things like Nvidia not till the end of August, I wouldn't go anywhere. I would not go anywhere, especially with where these are. I bet you, a lot of these hedge fund managers that came in super bearish early in the year and then are now catching up, they're not going anywhere this summer. Because if they don't own these stocks and, Netflix does the full move, that's only the all-time 618, by the way, or for Nvidia, that 1618. I mean, what if it does something crazier? Number 4, I still say it's Meta, because Meta's threatening 300 now, and that was target 2 on the crab pattern. But I think that's not showing any confirmation here. You hit target 2 on the weekly chart and blowing right through. So what the heck's going on here? Because amplified RSI, I mentioned this, has decided to go up into the overbought and stay up there in the weekly. And amplified RSI, this is a proprietary kind of expansion on standard RSI, But when we get crazy moves, Amplified RSI has a great ability to detect this kind of a thing where it's not coming out of the zone. It won't register an extreme reading for weeks. I say Facebook goes to the all-time 886 now, 350. You're 298. Target 2 is a minimum. That's what's at stake, folks. I've been saying this for months. Really, since the beginning of the year, I know that too, but January, mid-January, I really was, coming around with saying, okay, things are shaping up, and now you're making runs to the all-time 886s. So you're catching up. You're basically recovering the 15-month bear market in about half the time, 2/3 the time. Maybe make up that difference in another 3 months maximum. But you're, threatening 300, and once Meta gets above 300, why not? I mean, everyone else is looking at the all-time high at 380. Let's use the 886. Final one, and we could substitute a few of these, but Netflix. Another one I posted earlier this morning. A couple of patterns on the 5-minute, just setting up. I mean, really, again, was it Shark with the confirmation a lot lower? But there was something else down here. Oh, yeah, there it was. So it's a type 2 deep crab at 32. 432. And that has the ability, the potential, where it's a 2 of 2 to be pretty strong for the week. So keep your eye on that. Also, I think Netflix had check out the hourly patterns here. So this is big stuff. And again, this is the kind of thing we're looking for. These are I wouldn't say hidden levels, but these are the premium setups that you're going to spot that, frankly, really no one else is going to pick up because you have a major back continuation. Now, there's a smaller back continuation. That was from this morning, that 432 on the hourly. Okay, that's a major support level where you're looking for things like this to then maybe come back, do a 2 of 2, and then launch off the retest, Type 1 reaction, sweet. Maybe come back and then get ready to go. Netflix is another one where printing a daily pattern up here. Okay, we had a few back-to-back HSIs with a bearish one at around 440. But remember, about 2 weeks ago, I said that's going to set off a higher rally into the zone. Now, how much higher? Are we going to pause here at 440, do nothing, maybe go sideways or grind higher to that hop level at 478? That's more of kind of what I think could happen before we see any kind of meaningful pullback retracement. We're at the end of this major pattern. Netflix is 19th, a week from tomorrow, earnings. So we could rally up into there and then dump on the earnings. I'm just looking for pullbacks, setups, 5-minute stuff. There you go. Things like that. And then the last week, we've had a few of these, a couple of the 5-minute patterns, all of that around 432. It bounced every time. You go back since the 30th. The other thing I showed were some option setups. Where was it? I think it was the 40s, the 440s. Let me come back to this. Microsoft was the better play, but I'm still looking at all of these the same way. Hey, what's up, Pete? Mr. If Flies It Dies says, SPY on the 5-minute right now. What are we looking at? SPY's up 12. The Qs are up fractionally after being down. It was a nice reversal this morning. But the SPY just rocking is, remarkable. There's a 5 minute. Is that what you mean? The deep crab right now? There's a nice little 5 minute correction, but type 1 reaction. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but that's a go into a nice type 1, and then maybe what we get in the next hour is a type 2 return. Let's see. That's a nice setup, though, for profit taking, short term, short. It's just that, listen, go to the daily, go to the 4-hour time frame. We're just continue to push higher to these targets, these daily targets, and the SPY produced a yellow dot. This is something else. It's a part of the software. So if you're new, because I've received a few emails recently, people having questions, they're new. And so if you're new, welcome to, learn about the patterns over at the site. But people asking more about like, okay, what's the yellow dot mean and the green dot? That's our harmonic indicator confirmation. We're looking at those as, important temporary points of oversold, overbought. SPY coming off of this 4-hour oversold from last week, set up quite nicely where, we're just, pull back, retracement, follow through, continue higher with another extension. SPY on the weekly, much like the rest of them, is an 886 retest minimum. The QQQ, same way. SPY 886 here. And that's up to, again, 465. Yeah, 465 is the number on SPY. You're 441. And then we'll see what happens. Do remember that we're also, for most markets, they've taken this shape for the weekly. There are many shark patterns like this connecting the dot X ABCD. The shark being a slightly different creature than the bat formation, although we can draw a bat from here as well. But that one says, get a 1618 with a minimum 886. That's more like 485. So you see how you can put those together. You get the connected dots and you know where we are. Okay, this is a super strong segment since January, on its way to trying to finish it off up to the 886 minimum or shark completion. In general, that tells me most people are looking at making a run at the prior all-time high, no matter what. No matter what. Couple of more of those choice tech stocks. Amazon was another one that we've been talking about. Okay, right around 130. It's beautiful bat pattern on the weekly. I mean, we've been talking about that one and Google for a while. Here's 5-minute on Amazon. So this is another one to consider for the week. I think this was the regular trading hours. Yeah, there we go. So the type 2 shark already started. That was from yesterday. I drew that, posted that. Hop level at 126.74. Confirmation was a little bit lower, and there's a couple small 5-minute patterns. All of that same as what we saw in Nvidia and Netflix. Printing out some patterns, continuation area within this pause where I still say Amazon makes a run to 131 by the end of the week. That's how to look at that. And what was the other one we highlighted with? Let me see that Amazon. I think it was the Amazon 129s. Here, let me go to the option chain. Because I know that Amazon had some patterns in the option as well for the Friday expirations. I think it was the 129s. And this is all stuff we talked about in our options seminar. Again, I'll put that out for basic members later today. I'm still getting caught up on all that stuff, but oh yeah, here it is. So check this out. So this was the option contract from just yesterday. That was the 127s, right at 147. Perfect type 1 opportunity. That might be over for now. We might get a full retest. This is what the 129s look like. And remember, those are a couple strikes out. Or was it the 128s? We had a few of these. And that's the kind of thing we'll be looking for not only in the next week or two, but for these specific setups going into earnings. Things like that. The final one, really quick, I want to show you guys Google. And Google's recent pullback looks like it's starting to get ready to go. Take a look at the Google on a 60-minute. There you go. Hop level off the deep crab, okay, right at 117. We checked back this morning, tried to throw it down. I'm looking exactly right here at 117. It's a perfect type 2. Up to target 1, back down for 2, and now from 117 to 123.80, that's essentially the limit, low to high, of what the pattern's framing out for us. Keep an eye on those. I mean, those are the big ones. And then let's really quick, some of the EV stuff I talked about last week. Rivian. Let's try that again. RIVN. Daily chart, daily, weekly. There's the daily chart. That was a 3 ideas for our members back like 2-3 weeks ago, $14. So we really caught that well. How high can that go? I think $30 is not crazy because you could shoot to target 2. Let me show it to you on the other platform. Let's go here, Rivian. I mean, it's already practically doubled, folks. So be patient with it if you're not in it. But look, there's a 5-minute pattern. They're nice. Perfect type 2. Okay. That's pretty nice. Deep crab pattern, type 1, explosion. Here you go. Right back, type 2. Isn't that Evan saying, isn't every Amazon truck a Rivian? I don't know, is it? I don't know. What's going on, chat? We got a bunch of guys and a few ladies here. Shout out to the ladies. What's up, Evan? AH, Miss Stephanie. Thanks for representing. Brandon. Drew Tube says, LOL, learn trading view. I think there's a number of patterns like this popping all over the place. That's a perfect example. Rivian's, blasted already. It was above 26 yesterday. Here's a nice little 5-minute pattern. We know we've got an uptrend, possibility of going higher. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at. Lucid. That was another EV play that hit above 8 today, 8.25. And, massive patterns on the daily. And I have to give a shout out because we covered these. It was maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to go to the next one. I forget who it was that mentioned this. But Lucid, looking great. And it's a target 2 off the deep crab. Let's see how much higher we can get. But here's something I don't know I forget who sent it to me, but it's this PSNY, Polestar Automotive, Automotive, and that was like a month ago, 337. So for whatever reason, these are popping off. Remember this one too, Fisker. I think I wanted that to get to the right of the downtrend, but look at this. I mean, Fisker's probably look at Fisker right now, folks. Bat pattern, crazy, weird bat pattern, right? This is why we do type 1, type 2. Type 1 up above the target 1, and now in a crypto, like it wants to do some kind of crypto. 542 is the hop. What do you guys think about that? Ladies, what do you think about that? For those that know the type 2, this is the place where we start looking for these kind of situations. And we're to the right of that downtrend. Interesting stuff. I don't know why these are popping off now. Rivian, I don't know what the trip is on Rivian now, but Rivian is happen to come together to saying, look, there's something going on. People are seriously digging into this stock after that long bear market. I mean, check it out. Post IPO crash, which was 150, went to, what was it, 7, 8? It was 12 at the low. 1150. So this is the other way to think about these that are popping off, starting to come back to life. If this does really get going, and I'll bring up another kind of spec play that we should consider, that even an all-time 382 is 75, 80 bucks. That's not where it's going. I'm just speculating that if it was going to do something crazy, 75, 80. The pattern says, look, with this kind of a move, the pattern says 29.71's target 2. That's not, until we get a bearish signal or counter HSI, maybe soon, but until that registers, 29.71's a possibility. All right, let me look at a few more. What's up, Neil? Yes, Mara and Riot, we'll definitely look at those. I'll use those stocks as the last ones. We'll segue because those are popping too. It's impressive. Etsy. What's going on, Angelo? Yeah, Etsy finally moved for us. But that's another one of these low floater kind of a thing. There's a 3-bar breakout. Really, we got one yesterday, but shark pattern, target 115. I like that. There's a few of those that have started to move. Coinbase. Well, we talked about Coinbase recently because it hit the target, was down there 49, and now it's almost a double. I mean, we were at this hop level. We do have a pattern down here. Now, the only question is, I said this last week about Coinbase and Overstock and all of these, that something's up. I mean, this is a different move than, say, the last few. This move is not the same as that move. The move from back in March, super reactive, no follow through. This one, we're almost 30 bars here. What you need to see, today's irrelevant. Today it's a huge move. It's a beautiful candle. You need to see the continuation. They're threatening the breakout now, but we do have a couple of things up around 93 bucks, 94 bucks that I'm not really concerned about that move. I'd want to see the bigger move when you go from 100 to 210. So that first 40, 50 just gets you going. But it needs to prove something now. And let's look at amplified RSI that's doing actually, if it's really going to be strong, you want to see a super strong reading in amplified RSI to get the follow through. Not to mention all of those crypto stocks they're doing strange things when crypto doesn't seem like it's doing much. The stocks are amazing. Brandon wants to look at PayPal. I think I mentioned that PayPal, something we've looked at, became a 3 ideas last week, or actually last month for us. 64 is the XA off the target. I think it's just a matter of time. And if you're down here on PayPal under 70, I kind of like it. I mean, I really think you're looking at a major low for PayPal. That's the anticipation. Give me a weekly oversold. You have it. What's monthly look like? We do know that this is, kind of like its first all-time correction since going public, getting split off from eBay, that is, the relaunch. But, check it out. What is it? What is that? What is that? Amazing. $60 is the all-time 886 reset. I think, you got to be in business with that, because like Coinbase, that could get going. Here's Square. That's not a full 886 retest. I bet you that's a 786. There's the IPO. Here's the all-time reset. I kind of agree. That's more about the 786 right there. $68. Never got down to the full 886 there at 37. But I like it. That's ready to move. That's definitely ready to kind of pop out. And look at the weekly. Software's kicking out. That's a beautiful pattern. I like that. A couple of more that I think you can't take your eye off of. Shopify is another one. This was on the daily, but just starting to climb here. This is a bearish pattern, and I've been looking for this thing to pull back to 50 and then go. We might be going straight to the hop level. This is one of those where you don't have any ideal confirmation where it should be turning around. It's definitely only giving you kind of that pause. How do you know? Is a good question. Is how do you know when it's a pause or a full-fledged reaction? Well, if you're in there for 30 bars, there's 30 bars, and you're now day 41, and you're still basically at the XA level, you're probably going to need more consolidation, more confirmation. If anything, you're almost getting oversold. Interesting stuff with a lot of these stocks. And I think the ones that haven't played catch up are about to. That's why earnings, here you go, earnings coming on August 2nd for Shopify. That would be something I would want to be playing, some kind of 5-minute pullback. Any patterns here? Nothing recent. Bearish pattern right now, but looking for bullish patterns to go test these higher zones. A few Hold on. Quick issue. Sorry. Thanks, everybody. Give me 1 second. That's back. Take a sip. 12:51. We'll go a little past the top of the hour. But what I'm saying is we're looking for the next set of opportunities. We know Microsoft, NVIDIA, okay, they're great vehicles. They're going to keep going. But where are the next bigger tech moves? And it's in stocks like these, I think. Here's microchip, weekly, another semi trying to break out. Okay, that one is, that will probably continue once it does break out. But I still like Intel for the slower kind of slug play where our target to go to 41.36 off of that pattern makes a lot of sense. It was as high as 36 recently, then got knocked back down. It's just another opportunity. Look, here's a 5-minute chart. Beautiful patterns on the 5-minute for Intel back to back. It's not a huge mover, like Microsoft or Netflix has been, but just printing a lot of nice structures, very clear levels. 31.65 is that crab pattern. That should be the floor here. Hitting, a little resistance at 33, but Intel maybe comes back down off of that retest and then go. Yeah. You're looking for really the weekly. Again, this Intel pattern on the weekly chart is no different than the Microsoft, the Amazon, the Meta, the Tesla. We didn't even look at Tesla. Same weekly charts where target 1 or even eventually target 2 is what we're considering. Before I go any further, let's look at Tesla because that's moved quite a bit. Trying to put in an HSI signal on just shy of target 2. All right, that's if you're wondering what's going on with that. Tesla right now, even if we pause here for the week, there you go, take a look at the indicators. It isn't completely out of the zone until the end of the week, until Friday. So I'm watching that closely. I don't think, don't jump to any conclusions just yet that move is over. And then you go to the 5-minute chart, actually Tesla printing another ideal setup. I mean, here's the deep crab. And it's a type 2. Tough to see, but it did this little thing. Look, quick type 1 up to 272. Now back down. Hop level 264. I'm looking somewhere in here. Also on the hourly, let's take a look at, I need to see extended hours. We're oversold on the hourly. So I'm thinking, give me some kind of reaction return off of this recent setup. Little pullback. Let's see here. And then trigger off of 5-minute patterns. There's the 5-minute extended hours. Even better. Yeah, the extended hours chart. Nice crab pattern. 267, 266 area. So over and over again, these continue to set up and give us opportunities. Masterson's Trust is asking why some of these patterns blow past target 2 on the reaction phase, because I think it's something about the longer time frame. Maybe I can get into more of that on Thursday. When that happens, like let's say you're looking at a daily chart and it just rips through the levels, what it really means is it's doing something bigger, obviously, but you kick it up to the higher time frame. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, some of the example of this is some of these smaller tech stuff, the Coinbase or PayPal's. Are these breakouts going to lead to something bigger finally, where they bust out of the range? That's a thought. But that's been kind of the message. I think a lot of the patterns, like Microsoft and Nvidia, when they blew through, they're saying, hey, something bigger is going on. Really quick, speaking of something bigger going on, look at Riot blockchain, folks. How are we feeling about target 1 at 32 now? Currently 17. We've been on this since 6. I think we're, well on our way. And I don't think really anything changes on that outlook until, you get up there. And so something's going on in crypto. You're getting these stocks to do those kind of moves. And then Riot has just, every 5-minute pullback has led to a continuation. Why would that stop now? Pretty remarkable stuff. Super strong. I'm impressed. Really, it is impressive stuff. Same with Mara. These just keep going. Where's Mara? There's Mara. Another, they're running in tandem now. Nice little 5-minute crab, type 2 crab almost. Perfect. But look at Mara. Daily, weekly, just awesome. I mean, incredible action. There's the weekly. I don't think this was the same, didn't have the same pattern dynamics, but you can still see you've broken out of the uptrend from the downtrend and you're making progress to where, why not at all-time 382? Just come back down, and even if this is some kind of reaction, maybe 382 to 31, $32. Same deal. Mara and Riot pretty much running on the same course. The other one, Bit Digital, some of those low floaters, playing catch up. I kind of like it. I think Bit Digital, and what was the other one? Clean Spark. The Clean Spark really has taken off. The key here with all of these, they have major patterns preceding them. Beautiful. In fact, I wish crypto had, more of the look of these patterns and this price action. Even though this took a little while, Clean Spark, target 1's 1860. Long range crypto wants to look at POW, P-O-W-W. Let's do that again, P-O-W-W. Ammo. Nice one. Is this a crypto? 187, big shark pattern. Why not? What is that? I don't know. BITF. Bit Farms. Okay. Bring them on. I think these are, these look pretty good. You got a little deep crab at the moment. But sure, I would line all of these up. Couple of more. UAA. Under Armour. Sweet. I think this is on a weekly, though. Yeah, there you go. Who won? Who's that? Who said that? AH. There you go. That's a beautiful one. Under Armour looks like she's ready to go. I might take that as a 3 ideas, folks. I will let you know. But I like that. I'm looking at a lot of those. Penn. Yeah, speaking of Penn Gaming, That's a 3 ideas for us. I think we were looking at that like 28 to 30. What's the pattern here? This bat pattern at 27, traded as low as 23, 23.50. That's still okay. I'm still okay with that. Because this is of the long-term nature. But that will take time. Brandon wants to look at Hood. I haven't looked at the Hood in a while. Robin Hood. There you go. Trying to pop off there. I could say something. I could dismiss this and then have this thing pop off. I'll say this. Yeah, get an eye on that. $11, $12 was trading at 8 and change. They didn't go out of business. That would be something to maybe keep an eye on. Couple more. BBAI. Yeah, that's one of ours we looked at for a while ago. Has done squat-to-do. Squat-to-do. Wasn't that a 4-hour chart at about 250, 260? Now 206. I forget what that was. Oh, yeah, it's this butterfly. Sorry. Low floater. Definition of a low floater. I still think you're just going to have to sit on that if you're a part of that. I am. I still have some of that. But it's a low floater. It's going to take time. But yeah, I mean, that's what you do want to size up. CVNA, Carvana, or CDNA? Because Carvana is tradable. And these are the kind of plays that you want to run with as this continues to go higher. I mean, this is like Rivian. This is like Palantir. They do big thrust move, then they pull back, and then they get ready to go again. I think that's what this wants to do. But I'll look at CDNA. Care DX. I don't know this. Low floater. That's the problem. The low floaters, I've said this before, you can spend a long time sitting in it, especially in a downtrend like that. I think the low floater type opportunities I've mentioned recently, things like Plug. There you go. Plug's a low floater, and I kind of like Plug. Maybe I should go get some Plug right now. Wow. I should get some Plug right now. Let me see what high and low. 1124 is the high. Trading 1118 at the moment. Again, there you go. Go to 18. $19. Definitely. But those are the kind of low floaters I think you really want to participate in. Here's another one, Paramount. This really isn't a low floater. This is more of like those older economy stocks. This is working out. This is something I put this up a little while ago. And then Warner Brothers Discovery is a type 2, and I'm in this one too, where we had a nice reaction on the first move to 14. Now it's a type 2 off the shark to go to 1580. With look left, you got some bigger patterns down here where can we get out of that crab zone? So again, a lot of these kind of slower, older economy type stocks giving nice moves. They're just low volume. That is kind of a low floater where the volume's not huge, but that's better than other speculative plays. One or two more. You know what? Let's jump over to crypto because we definitely have to scale through this. I think you're coming into a really critical time. I think Bitcoin's trying to do stuff, interesting things where we have the shark pattern. I said either way, we're in a 30 bar window where we do something like that and take you to the 21st. If we do not get to the target one, so be it. Then we go probably higher where we just hold in the zone and pause and pause and pause and go above 32,000. The thing for me is 32,000. There's nothing above 32,000. Above 32,000 is just 37. That's a big hole. It's interesting though that this hits the shark. I mean, perfect shark up there, and then again, just sideways, nothing. So sometimes nothing can be good. And go to the 21st, 10 days from today. You want Bitcoin to be at about 32.5 10 days from today to blow out that shark pattern. And I still say it is, again, you get one strong weekly candle, that could set the whole thing off. That's what you're looking for in a lot of tech stocks. Same thing with Bitcoin here after big push higher. In this case, you could probably be one more week. Like that big candle could come next week, and then you go and you run to the 37.5 area, which is, if you're going to blow out that pattern. You did do the same thing. I think it's pretty interesting that, look, you have two shark patterns. There's the first shark. It did give you a reaction. Then the type 2 got kind of annihilated. And now you form another shark. Okay, you pause. Are you going to do the reaction? And I would be fine with the reaction. I'd be fine if that went to 28. Because I still say when you're above 32, that's the segment. That's going to be the segment for the year. 32 to 37.3 that's going to be probably the most important gap structural move that you'll do in this whole recovery. Air pocket, perfect term for that. Air pocket, I agree. No, that's number one. Number two, Ethereum, pretty much, not doing the same thing as a pause, just not nearly as much there as Bitcoin. Bitcoin has, a few patterns and some signals. Ethereum's just kind of sloppy up here. So 1,800 to 2,000 is your general range. Nothing changes until something develops. We did have, really quick, on the 4-hour chart, we have this for Ethereum. Doesn't seem like much, but you have another shark pattern here where 1,800, 1,790, that should be about it. You just did a little reaction. You can barely see it, but it's like this. So if we come back down, retest that, that could set it off. That's the type of thing you're looking for. Give me something to set this off. Number 3, Binance Coin, do something. 248. Range bound. I don't, not much there. 4-hour chart, I've said this before, under 220, I'm concerned. There is, you have this daily crab pattern with a counter trend HSI. That would have to be the bottom for this whole move for Binance Coin. So it doesn't thrill me. If you're looking for a place to put money, I'd go to Bitcoin over Binance Coin any day of the week. Number 4, just because, look, this is so ideal that I think we need to really address what's going on here with Cardano. that it's a perfect two of two that we have been waiting for months. And so now here it is, and we're squeezed between two conflicting signals, but I think 28 cents is maybe a place to start. That's a long. So that's a start. It's really a start because by textbook, it's a retest of the pattern with confirmation. And it's a heck of a lot more actionable, I think, than number 5, which is XRP, which, again, you're nothing until that whole deal changes. But for those that are interested, 45 cents. 45 to 55. I'm not thinking any kind of major pullback under 40 or anything. I think you just slowly, steadily, and you do it over months. Maybe by the fall you're back to 50 something. Now we do have these other situations with crypto. Like, I'm thinking Zcash is one not to take your eye off of because of the likes of things like Compound. And remember, I was, really all over that because of the multiple patterns. And that's what I'm thinking with a lot of these situations. Give me the multiple patterns to trigger the best opportunities. So if it's that one, or if it's other things like, here's this Fetch AI, Deep Crab, a bunch of these. So, go through, take a look at, the only those setups that have the really choice patterns, things that, back-to-backs kind of situations, type 2s. That's Cartesi too. What was that on the daily or weekly? I think that was a weekly. Yeah. Oh, really quick, I want to look at Bitcoin Cash. Just so we take a peek. We don't, stay on top of where did that roll over yet? Is that huge move from 80 to 300? Is that a one-off move? Because remember, that was a shark at the low. Anybody catch that? Anybody in Bitcoin Cash? Because even if you're not in Bitcoin Cash, it's these type of setups that you apply them to other scenarios, other coins like ETC, Ethereum Classic, with all the patterns, daily, weekly. They are putting in a lot of different formations that are, the further we get out, the better these are going to look. I mean, this Ethereum Classic chart, even with that last shakeout down to 13, I still say that's an ideal type 2. And, someday we'll get to 53.93. Someday you will get to 53.93. Right now, it's just difficult to foresee that as it really ping pongs between 13.25 and $20. One or two more. Here's one that I haven't mentioned in a while, but it is something we waited on forever. Cosmos, and I think you're almost there, where not only did it do the full type 2 that we anticipated. There you go. But trying to threaten the breakout of the downtrend. And with a lot of those that are, still clearly not doing a heck of a lot, that's got to bust out, but you're at 2 of 2. There, you've already completed it. There you go. And it's a perfect Gartley. So the compound situation where I talked a lot about those patterns, and then the thing hit the level on the retest at, we were targeting 32, 33. It went to 25, and then it jumped to 70. And that's crypto. But that's why I'm looking at a lot of these pattern structures, saying, all right, what are the best ones, especially those that have now retesting with confirmation. Another peak. Looks like Bitcoin's trying to do something today. What's the 5-minute look like? Interesting. Bitcoin could make a run for 31,000 a day. Wouldn't be a big deal. I still say the real play is in those stocks. About GXLM, I don't know what GXLM is. Is that the Stellar Lumens, Grayscale Lumens? Oh, okay. They went. Oh, that's why. Who knows? I mean, they're doing a Lumens trust on that. Crazy. That is interesting. Why would that go from $7 to 50 when XLM hasn't moved? XRP hasn't moved. Yeah, it's around 10 cents. I don't know. Matthew Miller's saying your dollar question. Let me see that. What's the question on the dollar? DXY. We talked about DXY last, or no, I think that was in our Monday session. I see it. Do I think the dollar may be progressing a multi-decade shark from all the way from 85? Yeah, long term, dollar is definitely in a massive downtrend. And we talked about recently the 100 level. Here's dollar index. Couple of patterns down there, but I'm only interested if it cracks 100. There's the weekly levels. Some patterns potentially lower, but you're talking about super long term, going back 40 years. What's a quarterly chart look like? Looks like that. Do I think that is still, that's a shark? That could be a shark. That could be a connected dock shark. The question is, longer term, is this a shark? Which means that that is an 886 run. Like, that's it. I think that's what you're getting at. Possibly. You know, I think the 886 is probably a more important structural number on that retest, and you couldn't break out above it. The dollar, in most cases, would go to a 5.0, would come back here. You know, if that's a shark, then it becomes a 50% retracement in the dollar index. That's how you do get a weaker dollar, and that's probably how you get Bitcoin to do the next cycle. You know, Bitcoin would run with the dollar, just, you know, if the dollar comes in here in the next year or two, which it probably will going into the election, something to consider as well. And that's down at, I think, around $100 is at 100 on the index is the level to make or break. But longer term, yeah, continues lower. And we've talked about that same deal. We're looking at gold. The gold situation, it suggests that, you know, we still get a pullback in gold, and then we'll look at it. That would make for a massive bull run, Evan says, and yes, it would. That's how we get the next bull market. Are we going to do it now, or are we going to do it next year? Because I definitely think by next year we will be at all-time new highs. I mean, this time next year or even sooner. Probably sooner. Probably, I would look. There's a shot markets nominally go to all-time new highs in the SPY and the Nasdaq by the end of the year or January. So if you get stocks to get going again, you get back into another bull trend, and the dollar starts coming off, that's going to help crypto. That's why I think you're seeing what you're seeing in the crypto stocks, because they're now starting to really take off in a way that people had these priced for bankruptcy, quite frankly. I mean, Mara is just insane. That's an insane chart. And so if that's going to really break out and crypto's going to, Bitcoin is, you're going to see stuff in Bitcoin. It's kind of already showing itself here. Mara above 20 is a big deal. Same with Riot. The other ones as well. A lot going on in this market. I mean, there is a lot going on in this market that I think there's a lot of things just you're circling. You're kind of just revving up the engines right now, and if it's going to be a push where maybe you make some kind of summer peak into August or September, and then really you get past this year, it's all about next November. So, and next year sets up to be strong. That's where it is. I mean, you look at a lot of those speculative plays of companies like Shopify and Square and other ones that lost 80% of their market cap, they're coming back. And the other ones that got crushed, there's Shopify. I mean, super strong. There you go. You pause off of that crab pattern and then push higher and bust out of that crab. But that's, there's 20 of those stocks, quite frankly. 20 of those. And then the other side of it is you got these other stocks like Shake Shack and just a slew of these kind of special situation stocks that are definitely in a new cycle. And they're starting to make their runs to all-time new highs, or at least challenge the prior all-time new highs. That's the way to look at a lot of these that haven't made the moves yet, but they're getting there. And then, here's SAP. You can go down the line. If it's tech or if it's just those stocks that were big winners 2-3 years ago and then took it on the chin, they're coming back. These are big opportunities now. I like it. One or two more. What's going on, Daniel? Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, the CLNE. I like that one. That's like plug power. And you've got patterns there. Appreciate that. Those are good stocks. Those are good picks. Daniel's got a bunch of them. FTCI, Gap, GPS. Who was mentioning Gap recently? There you go. Absolutely crushed, but look, the Gap is just another long-term. There's a quarterly chart. Maybe show weekly. A long-term corrective phase. Look at those big patterns. Those are beautiful patterns. But that also is kind of a low floater because that's going to take time to work out. But I do like those. And those are the kinds that I would be looking for. Moderna, wasn't that, what was that down there? It was a bat pattern down there? Yeah, it sure is. Moderna, not my favorite company, quite frankly, but, we're here to make money. So it really doesn't matter, does it? I like that bat pattern. XA level is at 126. It's at 122 right now. And confirmation is basically right around 125. But that's kind of a sleeper low floater. It hasn't done anything for 2 years, 18 months. Maybe you get a small type 1 off of that. I wouldn't expect much more than that, but still okay. 122 to 155. Keep an eye on that one. Sean's asking about gold, silver, the miners. I think they're pretty close. Really quick, I prefer oil over gold for right now. And I still say gold's got to come in, retest this 1833 level minimum. And then you look at something like GLD. Not quite there yet. Still needs to set up. I mean, really nothing there on GLD. I think these can come in a little bit more. A lot of weekly topping action. And don't be surprised, maybe even as low as 161 again before it just stays in this long-term range bound situation. Here's XLE. Speaking of energy, these have been super sleepy, but they're trying to do things. We've been at this pattern. It's a 2 of 2. It's really tricky because it hit it exactly. No confirmation. But weekly time frame, I mean, what's going on here? Is this going to roll over or is this doing something else? Because it is a type 2 on the crab, and I'm trying to figure out, is that it? Is the all-time high back 14, and then is that a failure at the secondary high? Let me clean it up. Crude oil really tough, in a tough spot right now because longer term it doesn't look that great. It would really need to do some kind of breakout thrust to get going. But I got my eye on it. I definitely do. Yeah, CCJ. That goes with you need energy to move. Well, that's a nice chart though. Longer term. That's a weekly chart. It just continues to grind higher, but there you go. You've had a few opportunities in that one. CCJ is a uranium stock, uranium mining mostly. Not bad, but these are sleepers. These are, those are not going to run like other ones are going to run. Still do the harmonics the same way, but it's just going to take a long time to move 5 points when, Microsoft moved 5 points today. One or two more. I think I'm hitting my limit here. GTHX. I don't know what that is, but I have seen a lot of these type of therapeutic stocks printing patterns left and right. So I leave that to you to search on your own. I don't know what G1 Therapeutics does, but I've seen a lot of these kind of obscure therapeutic style stocks. They pop up. A lot of them pop up on like the tech volume exchanges. Like top volume gainers for NASDAQ. Are there any down there? Nothing I really see. Or maybe even the gappers. Huh. Oh yeah, there was a type 2 on whatever that was. Pain reform goes from 4 to 20. Nice. Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, Freeline Therapeutics. I'm just freestyling here at the moment, but this is a perfect example of these kind of therapeutic, anything therapeutic with a pattern seems to be able to been a lot of those kind of situations. So take that for what it is. Finger motion, no idea. But these low floaters, again, they take forever. I mean, look at that. That's a Gartley. There's a type 2 Gartley on that one. Really tough, though. Tough to play those. DBRG, I have no clue. Digital Bridge, don't really, couple of back-to-back patterns, bearish pattern right now. Let me give you one or two here. Here's something a little more traditional. Okay, Nike. Take a look at Nike right now. Look at what the software is doing. This is probably going to be a 3 ideas for my crew, but share it with you folks. That's the kind of thing I want to look for. It's a perfect type 2 retest. Software is kicking out a bad pattern. We all know, love Nike. Look, type 1, bang, come back for the 2. All right, and we're printing HSI today. So that's a better setup in my opinion. I think that's a smoother chart than some of those low floaters, if you will. You're going to see action in a stock setup like that. Type 2, big stock, a lot of volume. And it's a type 2 where you're looking for 120 on that. That's the kind of stuff I'm focused on, and I will remain so. Beyond that, I'll look at anything. You know, quite frankly, I'll look at a whole bunch of stuff, but you know, I want to stick with these bigger, better ones. All right, listen, we'll come back on Thursday. We'll get into it. There's a lot to kind of prep for next week, and I'll have information about the other option presentation 2 weeks from Friday. Longer term options that we will do. Is it 2 weeks from Friday or a week from Friday? I think it's a week from Friday. Yeah, it's the 21st. So it's next Friday. All right, Thursday we'll talk about that. Anything else, you guys know where to get me, harmonictrader.com. And until then, we'll catch you on Thursday. Have a great one. As always, go get them. We'll see you then.